heroes of small beginnings.
Good afternoon, Andy.
Good afternoon, David. Welcome,
And
everybody. Welcome to this
to the couch.
Saturday sofa, coming to you from very sunny and very hot downtown Perth, Western Australia. It is a balmy 37 degrees at the moment for all of you Northern Hemispheres that are heading into some cold and miserable weather. Greetings to you all. Righto, Dave.
So I guess for us, Andy, it's all about having a cold, refreshing beverage, non-alcoholic, of course.
And non-alcoholic, of course. I have the soda water. Yep.
It's nice and early in the morning, so they're morning coffee or cocoa, whatever it is, as long as it's nice and warm.
Yeah. Well, if you're in Italy, I have known many to have the odd grappa with their espresso, but that's okay. That's a little bit of a hard starter. All right. What we're going to do today, folks, is we are going to go through and just have a bit of a casual chat around some details that are covered in the presentations that are done by all of the leaders of SuperOne globally that do presentations. But obviously, it's packing a lot of information into a short presentation. So what we try to do on these Saturdays is just take a bit of a slower pace and just back it up a little and just go into a little bit more detail. And today it's going to be specifically just a bit of a chat between Dave and I for your benefit, just exploring some of those more details around the current promotions. There are some really pivotal things that are happening at the moment with the switch to credits and what does that mean, and the promotions, the selling out of pool tokens, the milestones that have been announced. So we're going to unpack all of that, and the objective of today, really this phase, is for everyone to understand business. I've said this time and time again, business is tricky, right? The whole world of business is difficult. It's difficult to coordinate. It's difficult to gauge timing. It's difficult to fund. But really that coordination of all the things that need to work at the same time to reach certain milestones. You know, Dave and I can speak from experience. We've owned and operated numerous businesses in our time, nothing to the scale of SuperOne, but business is business. It's tricky. So what we're wanting to really highlight at this phase is your patience for those that have been part of SuperOne for some time. Make no mistake, your patience is now very much about to be rewarded. For those that are new to SuperOne, you could not have come in at a better time. And for those that are thinking about just dipping their toe a little bit further, maybe their foot or their leg, or diving fully into SuperOne, these sessions are about providing the clarity and the information for you to make informed decisions as to what is best for you. But make no mistake, there's been some major milestones that keep being ticked off as we move forward. So let's have a little bit of a couch chat, Dave, and go through and see what we can unpack today.
All right, so let's put some context around it, Andy. And this whole SuperOne journey, the game, the battle royale, it is about that passion and profit. And that the profit's important to all of us as affiliates, but the passion is where it's going to come from. You know, we are engaging and, more importantly, monetizing the world's biggest fan bases. And we all know that. We know it's a massive space. I'm not going to go through in full detail, but there's $700 billion in 2021 was the value of this market. But it's
let's maybe just stop there for a second. Sure. I forgot to say, folks, there is a Q&A function. You just reminded me, David, because you're going through so much excellent information. What we're going to do today is try to do a little bit of a live Q&A. So as we're going through and unpacking certain things, when it is fresh, top of mind, click the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll monitor that between Dave and I. Will monitor that as we go through. And if a question comes through relevant to what we're talking about, we'll just pause and unpack it right then. And if we can, and talk about it. So remember that. I'm going to stop you there for a sec, Dave, and just come back to that where you say we're going to skip over just how big the gaming market and the advertising market is. There's a reason why we play that video every time before we do a presentation. What you want to have a look at is that is the global world of sport, right? It is enormous. The money that is in that is enormous, right? All of these fans are going to want to come onto this platform. And the one that I want to highlight is once they are on that platform, this is a major revenue stream for the business and for the affiliates, that advertising subset of $400 billion US in 2021 from the game advertising market, right? You need to really understand just how immense that is. It's targeted adverts off the platform directly into the palm of people's hands. The advertisers are paying a pretty penny for that. That's the new holy grail of advertising. That's where they want to be. And SuperOne is all over that. That encapsulates a lot of what they're going to be doing. All right. So as Dave goes through, really hone in on that. Anyway, over to you.
And just to extend on that advertising thing, Andy, the advertisers want to get their message to the most relevant audience possible. And if you've got products and services that people who follow football or sports or entertainment engage with, what better way than to come where people have voluntarily turned up to demonstrate, I'm into football, so let's give them some football-based advertising. So that targeted is going to have a better hit rate.
Totally.
But these sports are massive. 3 billion out of the world's 8 billion people have nominated they are fans of football. So that is our global market. Most products, most services, most businesses will launch in very specific markets. And I'm talking specific geographically. We have the capacity here, and what we'll be doing is when those promotions start running, we're running to a global audience on the first day. 237 countries SuperOne is compliant in, because it's a game. It's not gambling. So straight away, we cut through a lot of red tape. And then two really important factors rolled into one is the game app is available through both the app stores. Now, that is testament to it being compliant in a whole range of different places and different forms.
Can we just come back to the football side of things? And this is a common comment, I suppose, that we get through the presentations and the Saturday sofas and the town halls. Why football? And when's basketball coming? Why not rugby? And why not this? And why not that? If you just, again, distill it down and bring it back to business, what is business about? And what are a lot of affiliates on this call? I would suggest all affiliates, frankly. What are the affiliates about? They're about creating value from what they have inputted into the platform, and their time and their effort, right? So why football? It is really simple. It has the greatest population of fans, so the biggest market. It has, therefore, the greatest amount of money, funds, finance, sponsorship dollars, everything, the global commercial infrastructure around soccer, round ball football is like no other sport on the on the planet. And it is streets ahead of everything else.
Yeah.
Right? That's why. So you might not be into football, doesn't matter. If you're into creating value from your participation within SuperOne, That is the reason why, if you successfully launch in that market, revenue follows, and you've set the template for the other sports and categories that Dave's going to mention now.
Yeah. So I'm not going to drill down through every single one of them, but we know, cricket is massive. It opens up the Asian subcontinent, India, Pakistan, all of those countries through there are mad cricket. And we know a lot of the audience here will be, Australia, New Zealand, and definitely we've got people in Europe and on the African continent. They're mad keen cricketers as well.
The Netherlands, for goodness sakes, have done really well in the ICC World Cup. The Netherlands.
Yeah.
Right? So everything's becoming global now.
Yeah. And when you think the NBA, that's the American league or competition for basketball. There's only 350 million people in the US, or maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe my stats are a bit out. But there's nowhere near 2 billion. So it is a globally followed sport. And once we bounce out of sports and start getting into things like movies and music, and a lot of this will depend on the partnerships that come in. And they will be watching closely what SuperOne does with football and how the public reacts to that. And then they'll want to get in on the game.
And just on that, we talk about when you have a platform like this, where does all of the money come from in these industries? It comes ultimately, where does the money come from to pay someone like Lionel Messi 200 million euro for one season? Where does that money come from? Right? I think that's what his latest deal is with. I think that's it's huge. It comes from sponsorship.
Yes.
Right? That's where the dollars come in. So I'll challenge. Well, some of you might know this. There is a famous women's football club, and their main sponsor is Spotify. Right? So imagine this platform starting to engage and actually encapsulate not only the sport, but also working in unison with their sponsors as distribution platforms, right? It's all integrated. That is what we're dealing with here, Netflix included, right? That's what we're dealing with here. It is a global audience, huge numbers, but multiple routes to market, multiple ways to find the customer.
All of our football clubs have those major brand sponsorship deals. And if a club comes to SuperOne, the sponsors come with them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you'll only ever find out about that partnership, as we've said. You will only ever find out about any partnership that SuperOne secures. You will find out about it from the business itself, not SuperOne, from the club or the partner themselves. And that is to make sure that all announcements are legitimate, they cannot be disputed, and they are in keeping with the marketing and the publicity profile and requirements of that partner.
Okay, well, let's move on. I think that question will come to the question that's popped up in the Q&A. We are
let me have a look at that.
So just let me go to our next point. Okay.
Yeah, we'll address that question.
Very, very quickly talk about the game. Hopefully everybody on this call has played the game, and it doesn't matter whether you are a game player on your phone, whether you intend to be, whether that's your thing or not. If you are an affiliate in this organization, realistically, you should have at least gone into the game. Even if you just join a game and let it run till your lives run out and you fall out of the game, right? There's no embarrassment for not winning, right? But give it a go. You might find you get hooked. The other thing is your reaction will be the same as a lot of people that you know. That will be their reaction as well. But the whole concept is around everybody starts the game at exactly the same time. We do kick off a brand new game every 5 minutes, but that also means that there will be games running overlapping. So we start a game at 5 minutes. That game could go for longer than 5 minutes, but at the next 5-minute time slot, a brand new game will start. So you don't have to wait for the previous game to finish for a new game to start. You'll notice now that there's 6 different categories that you can play, 6 clubs and 6 world football categories. So any one of those 12 you can choose. And doesn't matter which one you choose, everybody starts at the same time and everybody will be getting questions relevant to their topic. So that's a common area of confusion around the specific games. We don't have to have a lot of fans of a particular club playing that club game, because we push them all together. And this is where the capacity to have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even millions of people playing exactly the same game across multiple different categories. And the whole concept is who knows the most about their own category, who swipes the fastest, and that's it. Swipe, true, false, very simple. Lifelines, again, even if you've never played the game, go in for the first time. You'll have 3 passes, 3 freezes, 3 swaps, 3 passes, 3 freezes, 3 shows, but also 3 lives. So swipe up, swipe down, swipe left and right, and double tap the screen just to see what happens, to see how engaging this game can actually be. And there was an upgrade to the game, I think it was Friday, we got confirmation that it went through. That was for both Android users and Apple users. There was a game update. Make sure your app's up to date. Go in, have a look. It's been sped up, and a few of the little things that were slow or not quite working right have been done, been fixed up. Also, the frequency of you seeing the same question has seriously been changed. So you're less likely to see the same question pop up. Definitely you're not getting them in the same game, but you might not see them for another day or so, depending on how many times you play the game. And that sits in front of what is about to come, with a whole new block of questions coming through. And then once those questions come in and the new tagging takes place, it will be very unlikely you'll see the same questions for a very long time, because that's part of the smarts of the system. It knows the questions you've had. It knows the answers you've made. If you're getting them wrong, you're more likely to see them again. If you get them right, you're less likely to see them again.
And we've had just had that validated by Shane. Thank you for that. The game performance since the last release has been improved vastly. Speed will be key, and they nailed it with this release. Well done, team. Thanks for that, Shane. It's really good to sort of hear people that are in there and having a bit of a play around.
Yeah. And I'm pretty clean for the next, there we go. The next image is coming on the slide. It's going a bit slow. Now,
I know the feeling.
First part of the monetization. So the free tools, the passes, the freezes, and the shows. You get 3 of those in a game, but you start your first game. If you use up any of those lifelines, you have to wait another 30 minutes to get the lifelines replenished. Or this is where the monetization step 1 comes in. Our players can spend $1, get 30 credits, play a game, refresh their lifelines, play another game instantly. They don't have to wait that 30 minutes. And then, of course, after the 30 minutes, they'll get another set, 3 of each, and they can play on. And indeed, most people do play for an extended period of time, like more than one game. And it's quite interesting, the whole psychology of in-app purchases. With some of the market testing that was done, people were spending on average $2, $3, $4 a session. They did try some market testing where they capped the daily spend at $10, and more people spent $10 than they did when there was no cap. So expect to see some of these sorts of things coming into play as we progress. All AI assisted, so, creating the content, making sure it's right, making sure it's appropriate to be able to convert into different languages. It takes a lot of manpower. With the AI component, that knocks out the worst of it pretty quickly. There are templates as to how these questions work in the football arena, you know, in terms of clubs, players, competitions, and the like. So they've got some templated structure to them. Some people may have noticed that, but they still need to be checked. And they do creation with AI, checking with AI, and finalization is most of the time a human will look at it, cross-check the references to make sure that everything is okay. Okay, cards. Now, we say when we're doing the presentation that you don't need to know anything about digital assets. Now, most of you on this call will have a little bit of a knowledge about how the crypto space and the blockchain space works. NFTs are things that in most platforms generate revenue. A lot of mining has now gone to NFT based. So it basically, an NFT, a non-fungible token, it basically means you can't have half a card or a third of a card or a quarter of a card. All right, you have one card, that's one NFT. And as those lifelines start being utilized, then the holders of the NFTs are going to start sharing the micropayments that originate from those $1 for 30 credits. Okay, so we're going to start seeing some revenue sharing coming in there. Just a little. Once the game is fully in promotion, that will start. The monetization of that aspect will start. And of course, the spaces take exactly the same principle. It's an NFT, it's blank. A brand wants to run a campaign at the various different levels. The campaign drops on the spaces or a collection of spaces. And if yours is one of those spaces, then a portion of the revenue from the advertising flows back to you, which is great. I don't think there's any other platform that I'm aware of where we're actively sharing in revenue from brand-based advertising. All right, there are some platforms that pay you to watch ads. I think that's a slightly different type of concept, but this is in the general view, in-app advertising, and you get to share the revenue. To keep people engaged, we need to put a little bit of a challenge in there. Now, the game itself is a challenge, but also seeing that you just missed out or that you were improving, and that's where leaderboards come into play. When you finish a game, it'll tell you your statistics for that particular game, where you finished, how many questions you got, what your streak was, and the streak is how many questions you answered right in succession, what you scored. And scores are quite important when people finish and lose their last lifeline or their last life on the same question. You need a way to differentiate who came before the other person, and that's where those scores come in. So if you're swiping your questions, you're getting them right, you're getting a green score comes up, that's getting aggregated together. If two people get kicked out on the same question at the same time, then the one with the highest score is the one that sits higher on the leaderboard. So a great way to differentiate them. And then we've got our star battles, star challenges, a whole range of social interactions. You start bringing all of this stuff in, and you'll be seeing people talking on the platform and challenging each other, competing against each other, probably making fun of where people are sitting on the leaderboard, that whole challenging rivalry type concept. And that engages people to keep playing, to strive to do better.
And that, if I can just add to that, Dave, that the social aspect is not to be these leaderboards, and the social aspect is not to be underestimated. With the advent of social media, there is now, a complete generation that has grown up only knowing social media. There are many on this call that are very, very much involved with social media. It came into their lives when they were more mature, perhaps. But what it has done, it's transformed how people communicate, engage, and socialize fundamentally, like for good or for bad, whatever your view is, but it is how it is. And this social aspect is not to be underestimated from bringing more people onto the platform, making it even more engaging when they are on the platform, actually socializing and communicating and engaging with others on the platform. All of that does is keep people on the platform longer, on SuperOne longer. And if they're on longer, that only produces greater results for SuperOne, greater engagement. It's not to be underestimated. The competitive nature of the human spirit on the leaderboard side, but the social aspect is enormous. You know, and now is the time for that to be used, for the power of that to be used for good and not evil, as we say.
Cash prizes. I mean, there's plenty of games that people play extensively only to see how well they do. And look, I'm the same. There's a block of games that I play every day just to see if I can do better than I did the previous day. We're now talking about a game that has cash prizes. And I will confess, you know, SuperOne is one of those games. I'll have a couple of goes each day. Some days I get a prize, some days I don't. What is interesting and something we learned just recently is to create the excitement and anticipation. The game winnings or the prize money for a particular game will not be advertised at the beginning of the game. What will happen is when you get to the end of the game, you will find out how much you won. Now, there's a couple of reasons behind that. One is it creates that excitement, that anticipation, but also it allows the revenue model to generate the revenue within the game and to then do that proportionate share of the game revenue back to the people that were playing and playing successfully in that game. But it's more than just cash prizes. You know, we fully expect that our clubs are going to be running some very specific campaigns and specific game competitions where we'll see range of different prizes. And then, of course, you take one step that sort of sits over the whole game, and that's joining a club. Nominating when you go in, which club is your favourite, that creates the towers, that opens up the battle world and opens you up to a whole new set of things that you can do, things that can engage the player. And importantly for us as affiliates, as holders of the digital assets, it opens up a whole new range of items that people can purchase, in-app purchases, but also the promotion of the affiliate side of things as well. And a lot of these things will be generating affiliate bonuses. So bonuses from the digital assets. So in the clubs, for example, the NFT, the tower NFTs will generate revenue, but some of the spending of the players will also be generating affiliate bonuses. So very important to understand that as well.
Might just jump in there and address one of the questions that have come in. If lifelines are purchased on credit card, is this an international transaction? So the way to understand this is right now, many of you on here would have acquired something online where it's domiciled somewhere else, maybe in the US or whatever, those sorts of things, and you paid through PayPal or anything like that. What is required is, typically speaking, the payment system that they use. What SuperOne have done is they've gone through and created tax. They've been approved for tax regimes, tax declarations in, what is it, Dave? Over 200?
200 different
200 different jurisdictions. So basically, it's the payment system. Long story short, it's not an international transaction because the payment system will accommodate for that. What the difference is whether if you're paying in Australian dollars, for example, or Canadian dollars or whatever, it needs to be reconciled with the US dollar amount. So the amount will be in terms of what the provider of that service or product is charging in, but it's not an international transaction. The payment system takes care of that. Hopefully that makes sense.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about partnerships. And these are important. And let's do this in the context of routes to market. So how do you get a product or a service into the market? You need to have processes, platforms, even databases that you promote to. We're talking about categories, game categories, football, that has a global presence. So we need global partnerships and we need global penetration. And one of the principal media partners, being Goal.com, has 800 million subscribers. Now, that is significant in terms of how many eyeballs you can get to see the SuperOne promotions. Now, the first promotion that has a SuperOne based call to action is not necessarily going to take everybody in. People need to see it multiple times. But that's what places like Goal.com will be doing. And SuperOne will be doing it as well. And SuperOne will be helping us to do that, because affiliates are also a route to market. There are people that we know that aren't subscribers of Goal.com. There are people that we know that aren't fans of the football clubs, or are not fans of the football clubs that will start in terms of the partnerships. They may come later, but the earlier we can get to people, the faster the platform grows. The faster it grows, the faster it grows, because it becomes an ever-expanding thing. One person introduces two, both of those introduce two, both of those introduce two, and you're expanding at a very, very rapid rate. FIFPro. Now, the correct definition of FIFPro is every country, and within countries, some regions have associations that look after the professional footballers. It's a bit like their unions. And FIFPro brings all of those unions together, and collectively, they're representing over 65,000 professional footballers around the world. That is a lot of people playing football and earning money from getting out on the pitch. So those people are involved. And the actual player partnerships will also play a vital role in how quickly we can expand the reach of SuperOne into our player base.
And if I can just jump in there again, just a deeper dive and explaining, certainly something that I say when we're presenting this, I call it a sandwich. You've got the fans, right? They're the ones that are going to be playing the game. They are the ones that are passionate about the sport or the category or the superstar, the celebrity. You've got the fans. What I really love about this, and what makes complete sense, why in our view it's going to work very well, is FIFPro, as Dave just said, that that congregation of all of these different professional football associations. There is so much emphasis on after career, mid-career and after career revenue and income earning capacity from professional footballers, professional sports people, even entertainers. And what this does is it brings, you've got the fans on one side, but it's really engaging, actually bringing those superstars, the industry participants, into the platform as well. So they can monetize their arrangements, all those sorts of things. You've got both sides that are supporting the complete engagement of this of the experience. That's why we find that sandwich, players on one side, like the public on one side, and the professional sports people and entertainers on the other side. It's genius.
Absolutely genius. I agree. So I mentioned Fan Connect, Fan Media. These are the ways that SuperOne is going to assist us reach out to the people that are connected to us on social media to assist. And I'm sorry, I advanced my slides a little bit too quickly then, but let's press on. Profit from it. I mean, the reality of it is the first major revenue-based milestone is getting that 3 million paying players on a daily basis. Now, that might sound like an absolute massive number of players. No, it's not going to come overnight, and it's not the only benchmark or milestone. We have multiple different milestones in place, but that is a key one for understanding the revenue capability of this platform. $1 billion business with only 3 million paying players on a daily basis, $1 billion business. And the way the model is set is half of that gross revenue goes back to the network and the various different stakeholders. So there's 20% goes to affiliates through all of the affiliate bonuses, and 20% goes to affiliates because they're holding digital assets. Very important. And I know when there were some changes from the binary structure to the uni-level plan, people felt that they were losing out on their passive revenue streams. Absolutely not, fundamentally not. Those passive revenue streams still exist, and they still exist in the same format that they did when you were buying your loot boxes and getting those digital assets. So very important to understand that. It's the affiliate bonuses that got turbocharged to make space to get things going, ready and up for the launch. And of course, that advertising revenue, as I've said before, how many businesses have you been involved in where you could get a portion of the advertising revenue paid to you? And to do that in this business, you just need to hold those spaces. Earning like legends. Remember I said there's multiple different targets. The primary target makes $1 billion business is the 3 million daily players, or 3 million, basically $3 million in revenue a day. But there's an expectation that we will step up through that, and the revenue, even at 300,000 daily players, is still significant. At the next target, 1 million, also significant. And there's another milestone that will happen between those two targets, and that will be the listing of the token. And why does it happen then? We'll discuss this a little bit more towards the end. Is if you've got a platform that's generating good, solid, consistent revenue, you have a token that has value attached to it, it can generate more revenue, and it will be in greater demand. And that is what we need. Okay, participation. Let's have a look at this. We know right now with the loot boxes, $10 through to US 25,000, that effectively you're paying for the super in the loot box. And I say now because that is still the case until such time as we switch to credits. But in addition to the super, you're getting pool tokens, player tokens, cards, spaces, and towers bundled in that. Very important. A super token is valued at 10 cents, but if you're buying gold, platinum, or diamond, you're getting a bonus number of tokens, which effectively means you're getting your super tokens for less than 10 cents. But we know there's a switch to credits coming, and I'm serious, it's coming next week. All right, all things going to plan. The technology switch will happen during the course of the week, and that will switch our loot boxes from digital assets to credits. And we will then utilize those credits to buy the digital assets, and there'll be a framework around what you can and can't buy, how many you can buy of certain things, depending on the loot box that you're purchasing or the number of credits that you're holding. So that's critically important. But what is vital to understand is that the credits you're going to get in a gold loot box, for example, will not buy you the 6,000 super tokens that you're getting today. So if you put a gold loot box today, you're getting 6,000 super tokens. if you buy a gold loot box with credits, and you had the capacity to convert all of those credits to super, you would only get 3,000 super. Now, if you're someone who's already holding super tokens, then that has effectively doubled the value of those assets. Pretty straightforward. Do we need to explain it any more detail than that, Andy?
I think, as always, David, you explain things incredibly well. What I would say is one of the main logic points. So the fundamentals around why the shift to credits is what Dave's just gone through. They are digital assets, so they are worth something. Why are they worth something? Because they are used for something and produce value, right? So they are digital assets, and as we progress, those digital assets are going to change in value, right? And the logical change in value is up. They're going to become more valuable. They're going to become more scarce, meaning less of them, therefore more valuable. So by the shift to those credits, the entry point into the business is constant. So the value points to which you enter as an affiliate is constant, but the value, the assets of what you can acquire with that entry point value, that will change. And that is what is really, really important to understand now for the ones that have been in the business for a while or recently joined. We mentioned the timing is fantastic. You're just about to see literally the doubling of platform value, right, of those assets, doubling. And this is all a progression heading towards the global centralized listing of the super token, where people outside of the SuperOne community can learn, understand, and acquire the super token. Why? Because it produces value, right? And we'll go into that in more detail, but that is the logic why they are shifting to credits. It makes perfect sense to me. You can't have a static value with assets that are going to move in price. If that makes sense, Dave.
It does make sense to me. And hopefully it makes sense to anybody else. But if you are or wanting a bit more detail around that, drop your query into the Q&A and we'll cycle back around to it. Now, a number of people are quick to observe that our credits will buy tools, assets, but also tickets. And do we know what the tickets are? Not right now. But this is an example of what the expansion of the platform and the game brings. As new things are introduced, we get new opportunities for acquiring assets, new opportunities for monetizing the player. There's also going to be built into a system the ability to actually trade or sell your credits. Now, is that going to happen during the course of this week? Probably not, but it will come at a point in the future. And if you're holding credits, you will be able to sell them, possibly initially sell them to other affiliates, but also selling them to players. So you can actually monetize the assets that you've got yourself. Again, more details on that we do not know, other than the fact that we do know tickets is a new feature, a new opportunity that's coming, and the ability to trade every digital asset, including the credits, will be coming in the future.
And I think the key description is actually on that slide. Credits are the in-game currency. So once the credits, you have credits on the platform, what can you use them for? It is limitless. You know, think about future dated merchandising opportunities, acquiring special promotions on the platform, all of these sorts of things. It's a move to a common value currency on the platform, where the value of the assets can change, but the common thread, the common currency on the platform remains the same.
All right, earning like legends. Now, I mentioned this earlier and I'll reiterate it here. when we switched from the binary to the uni level, there was a number of people that were concerned that the passive bonuses were impacted. That is fundamentally not the case. Your passive bonuses still exist and they are paid on the digital assets. Right now, the pool tokens pay directly to an externally connected wallet in XRP. And if you're a follower of XRP, you will have noticed that the price of XRP has gained steadily over the last couple of weeks. And because we're getting payments into our wallets multiple times during the day, once they've been there for a couple of days, they're actually worth more than when they went in. So that's a little bonus that comes just because of a change in the marketplace. The super token pays a bonus every time a sale happens on the platform, but it pays it in additional super. Cards, spaces, and towers will also start paying once those elements of the game are fully monetized. And people are going to jump up and say, hey, but we can buy lifelines now. Yes, you can. But the revenue from those lifelines is delayed because both the Apple Store and Google Play do not pay instantly, unlike SuperOne, where if you do a bonus, you get paid that bonus straight away. No, Google Play or Google Pay and Apple, they pay as they choose sometime the month after they've received the revenue. So they sit on it and they'll do whatever they want to do in terms of validating that revenue, and then they will pass it on, in this case, to SuperOne. And once SuperOne receives it, it will then be in a position to start distributing it. Once we get in full momentum, then the lag of those payments won't be as big an issue. All right. And SuperOne will start to cover the gap so we can get as close as possible to instant payments to the affiliate network. And then, of course, the active bonuses. You don't have to be active to receive your passive bonuses. But if you are active, the rewards at this point in time are so much greater than just sitting around waiting for your pool tokens to give you your share of 10% of the revenue. And the system has been simplified. It is a lot easier, but the change can often be quite confusing. Now, we're not going to go through every single one of these payments, but we'll have a look at some of the ones that seem to be causing the most confusion. All right, so these were the passive. I'm sorry, we're going a big deeper dive into the passive first. So 10% of all the revenue goes back to the holders of super tokens as additional super. 10% of all the revenue goes back to the pool token holders in either on platform showing in US dollar value or into your external wallet showing in XRP. And then, of course, the cards, the spaces, and the towers, when those elements start generating revenue, depending on which tiers you hold, and the tiers are the bronze, silver, gold, platinum, or diamond, that will depend and that will dictate the share of those bonuses that you receive. And all of those bonuses will be paid initially in additional super tokens, and those super tokens will have value, and that value ultimately will be able to be liquidated and traded for real intrinsic value later on. Okay, so our loot boxes don't change when we go to credit in terms of their pricing, but the value of the super tokens will change. So we know our 6,000 tokens roughly work out at about 8.3 cents each. That will change, and we've been roughly through this. So when we go to credits, this is the sum total of what we know now. We will be having a town hall earlier during the week, and this will be outlined in significantly more detail, but essentially this is what the loot box credits will look like. $1 gets you 30 credits. So if you're bronze or silver, that's very simple. The conversion of $50 times 30 gives you 1,500 credits. But if you are gold, platinum, and diamond, there's a bonus. So you get more credits in that. And it's 20% bonus for gold, 30% bonus for platinum, and a 40% bonus for add diamonds. What we don't know yet, and we're waiting to find out, is how many credits are required to acquire some of these digital assets. And we'll find all of that out at the next town hall. What we're pretty confident of, though, is if you've got some value set aside to acquire another loot box, the volume of assets you'll get today and tomorrow will be significantly higher than the volume of assets you'll get access to once we switch to credits. And we're supposed to be moving to the next slide. It's coming.
It is Saturday, Dave. So, you know, PowerPoint also needs to just take it.
Oh, look, there we go. You can now tell I clicked it 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. Performance bonus. This is pretty simple. When you think about it, if you're a fan of maths, it's absolutely ultra simple. If you're not a fan of maths, just understand it this way. If you've got personal volume recorded on your platform, every time there's a sale, you get another micro payment, either into your internal wallet, USD value, or into your external wallet in XRP value. The calculation of that, for those that like a little bit of maths, you take your personal volume amount. You can see in your back office what your current personal volume is. We take this total personal volume that's calculated exactly the same way, and that determines your share every time a loot box is sold. So take 10% of the value of the loot box and distribute it to all of the people on the platform that have active personal volume. So it's personal volume within the last 30 days. And what is personal volume? Any purchase you make on your own account and any purchase of a loot box that is made by somebody who's on your tier 1. And you can also look in the bonuses section of your Progressive web app, the back office, and you will see that how many people or how many accounts are sitting on your level 1. The infinity bonus. Okay, so the uni level pays levels 1 through to 10. So it's paying 1 to 3 at the moment for entry bronze and silver, but it pays all the way down to 10 levels for our gold, platinum, and diamond loot box holders. The infinity bonus then comes in when your team is bigger than that. And yes, this is targeted and a massive bonus for those people that are actively building big networks, but also supporting the people in their teams to also share and expand their team volume. And for doing that, and sometimes that can take quite a bit of work, there is a very attractive reward associated with that from your level 11 and down. The leader bonus. Now, we do have a comment on the leader bonus, and hopefully we'll address that here.
I'll address that one afterwards. I've been thinking about that one, Dave. It's a valid point. So
yeah. Okay, so the mechanics of the leader bonus is this. You have a button in your bonus section of your back office that you click, and that will activate for you the leader bonus. So you determine when this starts. Once you start it, though, it's going to be a runaway train. For the 30 days after you click that button, any sales that happen in your team, and your team is defined as all of those accounts you can see in your various different tiers, 1 through to 10. So any sales that happen in there add up to your team volume. If in that 30 days, you can hit any one of these benchmarks, minimum being 25, but also 50 and 100, each one of these benchmarks then determines what you're going to receive over the next 360 days. So it's a 390-day program. 30 days activation, like lots of different things, different programs have an activation period. What you can achieve in the 30 days then becomes the function of what you will receive as your team continues to grow over the next 360 days. And if you can tip that team volume over $100,000, then you are due for $100,000 of additional payments over the course of the next 360 days, and they're released each time somebody acquires another loot box in your team. Then a portion of that 100,000 will be released to you.
All right, so maybe we just address this one. So Harry, no one is interested in the leader bonus because it cannot be achieved. Right, let's unpack that. Yes, it can be, and has been by multiple leaders already. So that statement in isolation is incorrect, but I understand where you're coming from. What I would suggest about the next part, that the shift from a binary system, for those that may be, well, most on this call would understand that we've shifted from a binary to a uni-level system. And without getting into detail, the power leg is always of interest. The most volume in a binary system can be very counterproductive. So one of the ways that you, good sir, have been compensated, as well as many people on this call, is you are grandfathered into the infinity bonus directly. Okay, so that was a part of a transition from from existing affiliates into the new structure. If you recall, there was a period there where you were grandfathered into the infinity bonus. So therefore, the depth that the power leg gave you in terms of access to the affiliate, the then affiliate bonuses, that has actually been encapsulated, and that has been grandfathered and gifted, accommodated to you. So hopefully that will address that point. And we understand, you know, there's lots of changes that need to occur. What I want to just really bluntly say to everyone on this call, if you're ever involved with a business that doesn't innovate or change, run for the hills. Okay? Because business has to evolve and change to market, to development and innovation, and it has to change in accordance with the capital requirements and the capital availability. So that's the money they have to do stuff. And what needs to be done, a good business molds and shapes and morphs and moves forward through change and innovation. So I highly contest that comment. You don't ever want to be involved with a business that doesn't innovate or change. What you need to understand is businesses that do innovate and change, they need to certainly accommodate and respect and reward past performance. And that is exactly what has happened in terms of that. So that infinity bonus, please check that. And that power leg value that you refer to was accommodated in that. So you haven't, so there's been no false information there.
Okay, thanks, Andy. And yes, you know, the infinity bonus has definitely, and the grandfathering of those values has definitely covered off any.
But I understand your point. I do, but now hopefully that's explained it.
Yeah, no, you've done well. Okay, let's talk about current promotions now. Matching promotions are going to continue to run until such time as all of the pool tokens are fully extinguished. How that actually translates when we shift to credits, we're not 100% sure of. There's a whole lot of information that will be unpacked in the next town hall. But essentially, it means if somebody who is direct to you acquires a loot box and somehow connected with that, there's super tokens, then whatever they get, you will get. So right now, if it happens today, somebody buys a gold loot box, they'll get 6,000 super tokens, you'll get 6,000 super tokens. When we switch to credits, it will be similar, all right? But the mechanics of it, we're not 100% sure of yet. Again, I'll reiterate, if you're thinking about waiting to shift to credits before you look at some of these additional loot boxes. Seriously look at the implications of doing that, not the least of which is the change in the valuation of the super token from 10 cents to 20 cents, meaning you're going to get more for your money before we change to credits.
Yippity doodah, giddy up.
That's it. Player match works exactly the same way. So those player tokens are those great little tokens that we're accumulating through our loot box purchases. Entry up, everybody's getting access to those player tokens. Very simple to get hold of some. When our players start flowing in, when the promotions start, they will be directed to the app stores to get the SuperOne app to download, register, and play. They have to be allocated somewhere in the system. And what is going to happen, the mechanics behind that, is the holders of the player tokens will relinquish a player token, and in return, they will be given a player, and that will drop on their tier 1. Now, that will all happen automatically. You won't have to do anything for it. It's already set, and the programming will take care of all of that. Now, you can't see how many player tokens you've got in the back office right now, but please be assured that the databases that are running in the background do have the total number of player tokens that you've got and when you bought them and where they stand in the order. What's the value of those players is because they're dropping into your uni-level structure in a tier 1, and anyone they introduce will then go to your tier 2, and then it keeps cascading through that. There will be purchases that they may make that, because they're in your uni-level structure, will trigger affiliate bonuses. Okay, so that's how they get monetized. So the player match will still occur until the pool tokens are sold out. The pool match is the only one that's slightly different. We've got pool tokens. There's a total supply capped at 800,000. There's about 127,000 left to go. Seems like a lot, but we are seeing the numbers progressively go down. We do expect that there's going to be a faster runoff. And I think also when they naturally get down to a certain level, then a bit of fear of missing out might kick in, and people will make a mad rush for the end. But the way this one works at the moment, it's based on loot box sales. So people in your tier 1, as they buy gold, platinum, or diamond loot boxes, then that sets up a scenario where every second gold, platinum, or diamond will trigger the pool token match back to you. And it's a 1 for 2, sell 2, get 1. And it does happen in a very strict order. Sell 2 gold loot boxes and you'll get 5 pool tokens currently into your account. But if you sell a gold and a platinum, you'll still only get 5 because it's based on the lower of the 2. Sell 2 platinum, you'll get the value for the 2 platinum. Pretty straightforward. And yes, we have had a number of conversations with Andreas around, I can't see my pool tokens in the back office. He is aware of it, and as late as last week, he was investigating where that was sitting in the development timeline to get that component added back in, so we can allay the fears of some people who think they might not have as many pool tokens as they think they're entitled to. Once that happens, we'll be able to help you with your reconciliation of that. So that's how the 3 matching promotions work. All right. 3 milestones. The first one, token listing. The milestone for token listing. We needed a metric that was easy to demonstrate the value proposition of doing this, and that is the 1 million player mark. You've got a platform with 1 million players. You've got a platform that has started to build momentum, and that builds value into the tokens or the assets that are on those platforms. And in particular, the main one, because it will be the one that is tradable in the future, is the super token. To list prematurely will not be the best thing for the super token. Now, I know that a lot of people out there would love them to list today, and a lot of people would, if they were listed today, would be trying to cash some in. And that's fine. We fully understand that. But what we would anticipate, if those tokens were listed today, the demand for the tokens outside of the platform would not be very strong. And when there's a lack of demand for the token, then the value will fall. All right. So we have a target price that the super will list at. We have arrangements in place with some centralized exchanges. So a centralized exchange is a big exchange. I'm not going to start dropping names because people might think, oh, it's that exchange or it's that exchange. There are a couple that have been lined up. There is one priority one. It is a global exchange. Liquidity needs to be added to that exchange. That means tokens need to be placed on the exchange to enable trading to start. And then what will happen is they will list. The vesting of the tokens will start. And what that basically means is our accounts will be progressively unlocked. So right now you see your super is a locked balance super. And what you will start seeing once that listing occurs is, depending on where you sit in the timeline, is your tokens will be slowly unlocked. Not your whole holding in one go, but a portion of your holding over a number of months, and with intervals between your diamonds, your platinums, your golds, and others in terms of when they start. And the main reason that is being done is we don't need 200 million tokens flooding onto the market in one fell swoop when the demand is not quite there to absorb those, because that doesn't help anybody. Least of all, it doesn't help you and me. Want to add to that, Andy?
I think you've done a really good job, but I think this milestone, in my view, and my humble opinion, is one of the most pivotal milestones. I've said, again, from my opinion, in a lot of the training and whatnot that we've done, I see the super token as being the preeminent asset on the platform. And the reason why I believe that is it is going to be initially the only asset that is going to be available for purchase, trade, and value access off the platform, right? So external people. So think about people that are actively involved in the crypto space. They understand it. They understand tokenomics. They understand basically early bird gets the worm. There's going to be a lot of people that already know that the super token is going to list. They're going to be very much investigating what the SuperOne business is all about, how it generates revenue, how it generates value, and its sustainability profile, right? So unlike a lot of these meme tokens and I won't say the four-letter word tokens, because this is a PG-rated show, that they're going to see that there's actually a revenue stream and there is value that is feeding into supporting this token, right? So that million players is confirmation and validation that the product that SuperOne has that offers the public is being paid for. People are engaging with it. They're paying for it. It's driving revenue. They then list the token. Just imagine, right? If people go crazy over all of these meme coins, Shiba Inu and Dogecoin, for goodness sakes, all this sort of stuff that actually have no revenue model behind them, zero. Imagine what they're going to do when the super token is announced. It's going to be listed on a major exchange because 1 million players have been achieved. And one thing with it, once 1 million players have been achieved, that exponential curve, for those mathematicians out there, that exponential curve has already commenced. That hockey stick graph has already commenced. 1 million will turn to 3, turn to 6, turn to 12, right? That's how it works. They will know that. And Andreas openly said that the valuations they have done on the business, they've had a specific tokenomics expert come in, independent, and the valuations they've done on the business and the projections, should they reach these milestones, a $5 super token value is very realistic. Think about that, folks. That's why this milestone is really, really important.
Spot on. All right. A lot of people have been playing the game and generated a lot from the game. Withdrawing the winnings is also a major milestone that is really going to turn things on their head for us. Again, the target for this is with the pool tokens being sold out. And there's a couple of reasons why. One of them is the pool tokens were only ever supposed to be a foundation bonus, something for the early people. I'm not going to say early adopters because the early adopters aren't here yet. What we've got is our innovator group, the people that are prepared to get in foundation level, at seed level, and that's all of us. We're the ones with the pool tokens. We're the ones that are going to get a massive reward from those, but we need them sold out because that then creates a more level playing field for the future affiliates coming on board and players upgrading to affiliates and getting to earn. And they, somebody joining in 12 months' time when, there are 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, or however many million players playing, the opportunity won't be quite as good for them as it is for you right now. But we need to hit that milestone of having those pool tokens sold. And if you're thinking 127,000 is going to take a long time to go, do your maths around how many are going with each loot box, and they will go down very, very quickly. With the people that have had the offer to get some of their game winnings converted to loot boxes, we're assured that the processing of that is in train, and don't underestimate that will take out some of those pool tokens. Okay. And we've mentioned this a couple of times already. The date on our slide here says 6th of November. Now, 6th of November is Monday. Monday is the target date for the commencement of the implementation of the changes to the technology that are required to implement the credits. Is it going to happen on the 6th of November? Possibly. But that is the day in the European time zone when they will start rolling out all of the things that they need to do to make that change. And at some point in time, shortly after the 6th starts, we expect the platform to be taken offline. And when that platform goes offline, there will be no further opportunity to get loot boxes with digital assets. It will be loot boxes with credits. That will be the trigger point. Once that platform goes offline, that will mark the commencement of the implementation of credits. When it comes back online, that's what your loot boxes will look like. We will be having a town hall early in the week to coincide with that change so that people are clear on what is going, the platform will look like going forward. All right, I think with that, we'll go to our little promo and then we'll go and see if we can finish off any outstanding questions. So we continue to do our events. Our group is presenting an English presentation Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. It is possible that this week coming, one of those will be switched out for a town hall. We will advise as soon as we have that known. The easiest way to be advised about that is to go to superzoom.io/events and follow the calendar. And then when we add or delete events, you should get a notification, but also pop back in, particularly this week. Pop back in every morning, have a look, see what the calendar's telling you, and then run with it from there. So we update everything there. We also have got some communication moving through the SuperOne News Telegram channel. So if you haven't joined the SuperOne News Telegram channel, jump onto that. If you're not sure how to do that, talk to the person who introduced you, or come back through your leadership or through your groups, and we will assist you with that. Recordings of all of our presentations since we switched to the Earn Like Legends campaign are all available on YouTube. And there is our YouTube channel at SuperOne Affiliates, including this presentation, which within 1 or 2 hours should be up there. Just need to allow a little bit of time for Zoom to process it, and then for me to push the button for it to go to YouTube, and it will be there. Andy, you wanted to share something about sharing?
Yeah, what I would like just to point out is just how simple it is. There's experienced affiliates on this call, people that are really comfortable in sharing business opportunities, and there are ones that are not. There are ones that may be aspiring to do that. It is super simple. All you need to do is say as little as possible and use that YouTube channel as your reference point. If people can't come onto a live call that are run globally every multiple times a week, all you need to do is use that YouTube channel / at SuperOne Affiliates, and in there is the most current presentation. Copy the link and send it to people. The reason for that is we're not sending around files of pre-recorded stuff, so you've got no idea who's got it. You've got no idea whether it's still relevant or current. By that YouTube channel being the centralized location of updated, most current opportunity presentations, that is a really, really good sales tool, a really good referral tool for you. Just send them that. Just send them the link and say, watch this. It might be the most valuable half an hour you've ever spent. It might not be for you, and that's totally fine, but it is worth half an hour. Use that as a resource, and that's going to be very much structured and managed going forward. And Stefan out of Germany has very, very kindly made available on that channel. We've incorporated German presentations on there, and soon there will be Spanish, then there will be Portuguese, and for the Brazilian market that's been opened up, and then there will be Japanese, which is already very, very big. So it's going to grow. Use it as a resource.
Absolutely. So shall we just try and make sure that we've covered all of these questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple that we need to dive into.
I think I've ticked a couple, and I'll answer them while you have a look at a couple of others. So the new affiliate plan, what we've spoken about today, has already been in play since the 7th of September. That is uni-level, Infinity, performance bonuses, and the leader bonus came in shortly after that. Will it be live once the credits are indicated in the platform? It will continue for sure. The current affiliate bonus, maybe with some tweaks, will continue for the foreseeable future. Game winnings converted to credits. That's a pretty important one, I think, Nolan. I think you'll find in the player side of things, the players will get the opportunity to purchase their lifelines using their game winnings. So to keep the value flowing around in the game ecosystem. So I think that will come. We don't have a timeline. It more likely once the platform is in a position to be then starting to scale up and our partners start doing their promotions. But yes, I think game winnings being able to be converted to credits so that people can acquire lifelines, I think that is definitely on the cards. So when the loot box contents are converted to credits, does it mean the person, say with a bronze, can purchase pool tokens? That's a very important point that's raised there. What we do know, so we don't know the full structure of using credits to acquire digital assets, but what we do know is the loot box that you acquire, whether it's bronze, silver, gold, platinum, or diamond, or the rank that you are, rank being determined by the highest loot box you've purchased, will set some parameters around which digital assets you can acquire and how many you can acquire. For example, a bronze loot box holder would not be able to buy diamond NFTs. All right, that's extreme, but just to demonstrate. So I think in terms of the question that's here, then yeah, if you're a bronze rank or you buy a bronze package at this point in time, so it's not a guarantee, but at this point in time, I would anticipate that you would not be able to convert those credits to pool tokens. But the matching promotion would still apply.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't have to be a gold loot box holder to get pool tokens if you introduce 2 other gold loot boxes into your tier 1.
There's a few comments around, there's a lot of happiness, Colin, that you somehow must be on leave or not playing the game because it gives someone else an opportunity to win a game. So thanks for stepping off the platform for a while, give other people a chance to win. That is a comment that is coming through.
I'll follow on that because a lot of people think, there's a few people that are doing really well. Those few people are not playing 288 games a day. All right. Based on the way, for example, someone like Colin plays, his games will potentially run longer than 5 minutes, which means there will be other games, at least one other game, maybe 2, 3, or 4 other games that have started while Colin's still playing the one he's playing. And that evens the playing field for everybody on the platform.
All right. So forgive me here. We're going to try it. Les jeux payants vont commencer à principe. So when do the paid games start?
Nice.
Right. So what one of the things that Dave went through is the shift or the credits that you can purchase credits for lifelines and those features on the game. So the way that it's working is the paid games that they'll come in a different form. They'll come in with all games will be free to entry at the moment. That there's been some market research done, and some while ago this was decided upon to keep it open, to give a limited amount every 30 minutes. There'll be free lifelines provided within per account, but to give the opportunity of people to add further value to the platform in the form of credits. Right, so that's one point. The other point is there will be special events. So Dave also went through that there's going to be daily, weekly, and special events, special games that are going to just be announced and supported and promoted as we go forward. And they very well may be a credit-based arrangement to enter those games of value, right? So what it is all about is just a simplistic view on a simple path of people to be able to bring value onto the platform in the form of acquiring credits. Those credits can do a multitude of different things on the platform, right? So hopefully that explains that. I wouldn't say shift, I would say a progression towards maximizing the value that can come onto the platform. So hopefully, if I explained that correctly, Dave, that's how you understand it.
Yes. All right. Sorry, I'm just typing an answer, but I'll let everybody know.
Thank you very much. No, I don't speak French.
Okay. Any news about when new NFTs will be available? At the moment, we don't have anything that we can share with you to help you. We know what will happen is the shift will come to the credit system before there's any more NFTs launched, but please don't take that the day afterwards we'll have a whole heap of new NFTs. But we have been assured that there are a lot of NFTs sitting waiting to be turned on at a specific time. So that covers that one. Pool tokens. Now, interesting. I was talking about 127,000 pool tokens left. We had a couple of people drop in, 125,905 pool tokens left. But I think while we've been on this call, there's been some activity, and we're now down to 125,780.
On that activity, I provide a little challenge for all playing at home. Jump on to your external wallet if you've connected your external wallet, and just have a little look at the uptick. These are the ones that have pool tokens. Just have a little bit of a look at the uptick in activity, so payment to the staking of those pool tokens over the last 24 hours. There has been some activity, and a lot of it has come out of the Japanese network.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, just a reminder, when the switch to credits is being implemented, it is our understanding the site will be taken offline while those changes are implemented. I think there's significant technical changes that are required for that to happen, facilitating a platform going offline. And we have requested as much advance notice as we can get for that to happen. But please don't rely on that. Don't wait and wait and wait. If you're planning to do something, don't wait until we tell you the platform's going down in an hour, because it may be we tell you the platform has been already taken offline, then it's too late.
So there's something that I just want to highlight that we spoke about earlier. The milestones and I think are really quite a firm schedule and structure moving forward that was announced by Andreas a week ago. And there's more coming that's being implemented, hence this big update. One that's just happened. It's going to happen in consecutive updates. This shift to credits is major. And the reason why it is major is we are well aware of numerous large network leaders and networks that are prepared, excited about SuperOne, and are coming into the affiliate network at the stroke when credits become active. And the reason why they're doing that is they do not want to bring their teams into a soon-to-change proposition, right? It'd be too hard for them to coordinate that. So why am I telling you this? Two reasons. One, the pool tokens are going to run out very quickly, because the vast majority of those people, or a large portion, will come in at gold and above, therefore acquiring pool token. The pool token will therefore be accompanied with the match. So there'll be twice the amount of pool tokens taken out per transaction. Okay?
1.5 times.
1.5 times, sorry. Thank you, Dave. 1.5 times. Here's the mathematician in the family. 1.5 times. So they're going to go quite quickly. Another thing as to why that's really exciting is if you are holders of the pool tokens, all of those new networks coming in, acquiring sales and making sales on the platform, that is revenue on the platform. What does that do for you? It provides those multiple microtransactions into your external wallet based on the pool token staking. All right. Make your own decisions. That's fact. That's what's happening. We're starting to see it already. So yeah, I just wanted to outline that to draw the parallel as to why that milestone is really important.
Yeah. Additional assets. So not everything shows in your back office at the moment. We know your super tokens do. All your bonuses are displaying in the back office. The cards are displaying in the back office. And for those of you that have NFT vouchers, that is, you've acquired loot boxes, you've got a certain number of NFT card vouchers, but you haven't used them all. If you go into the store, you'll actually see how many you've got available. But if you look in the wallet, you'll see how many you've already redeemed. But the question is, when will we be seeing spaces, and when will we be seeing pool tokens? Now, the pool token side of things, we have asked that to be prioritized. It is definitely something where we get a lot of technical questions about people. Have I received my pool tokens or have I not? Where can I see them, or where can't I? more than once this week in exchanges with Andreas, we pointed out and got that this was an issue for us, and got a commitment that he would go and review where that was positioned in the development timeline, basically to see if we could get it implemented sooner rather than later. Spaces, I wouldn't necessarily expect spaces to display in the back office in any significant format until we get a little bit closer to advertising being opened. So basically, you don't take a platform like this and invite advertisers until you've got some traction. So that will be a bit further down the track. Although there was a proposition that if we could at least see how many spaces people are holding, that would go a long way to satisfying that inquiry as well. That was a long answer for a very short statement.
But you did it so well. Let's have a look at that last one. I'll just address that. When the games begin, they've already begun. But the next one, Nolene, thank you very much. To the best of our calculations, on the 7th of September this year, the personal volume, the PV requirement commenced. So that means 90 days is up on the 6th of December. Why 90 days is important, all right? For all these people on this call, and really disseminate this through your entire network. All that is required to stay fully engaged and fully receptive of all uni-level bonuses, everything beyond the passive into the active bonuses, is $50 per month personal volume. And that can come from your direct account, like your own personal account, or your frontline, you directly referred. So then only you need to make the decision whether this is appropriate for you or not. If it is within your means to acquire $50 worth of value on the platform, it's not for nothing. You receive assets for that, soon to be credits. Right now, it is a bronze loot box. So there are super tokens in there. There are player cards, all of that sort of stuff. You're not getting, it's nothing. It's not for nothing. That will guarantee that you are still active for, at the very least, the next 90 days. Okay, your account does not get removed from the uni-level structure. All right, really, really important.
I just want to add to that. It's also, please don't rely on us for this date being the 6th of December. Please look in your back office under your bonuses. Your back office will tell you where you are. Now, if you have personal volume active, it will not show you the 90-day cycle. It will show you that you've got personal volume active. If you do not have any active personal volume that is greater than $50, then it will show you your countdown to 90 days. Okay?
Yeah.
So please, it's incumbent upon everybody to log into their back office, go to the bonus section and check where their personal account is sitting to then determine. And as Andy said, if it's within your means to correct it, please correct it. And yes, Nolene, we agree. It's not worth losing a downline. It could be a very costly oversight in the future.
Particularly all of that comes in when the players start coming in and all of that network. You've worked hard to build it, keep a hold of it. I believe that's pronounced, Neil. Thank you very much. Yes, we're aware of the time shift in Central European time. We may consider sort of shifting this back by an hour, so people don't need to get up at 7 a.m.
Yeah, we'll discuss that during the week and definitely before next Saturday. And I guess the challenge for us, Andy, is we don't have to adjust our clocks ever. We are one of those places in the world where our clock stays the same.
Yeah.
It does. It ticks forward a second at a time, but don't go and manipulate it
It's not a political comment, but it might just be, you know, I'm not sure. I think it's a little bit backward, to be perfectly honest. But anyway,
Well, once a year it's backward, once a year it's forward.
yeah, backward in thought. It's going to
Yeah.
fade the curtains, Dave.
Absolutely, and the
Gonna
cow
fade the
milking
curtains.
at the wrong time.
Oh,
Noel,
that's a private West Australian joke, folks. It's anyway, everyone to their own.
Nolene, your question there, I'll go back through the slides and double check that. Thank you for pointing it out if it is an issue. Mr.
Hey,
Dave,
I'm from Perth. I love it,
from
but
Sydney.
you know,
He's from Sydney.
yeah,
how dare you call Perth backwards?
yeah.
Well, I guess living here, we can.
Yeah, I'm qualified.
We're qualified to take the mickey out of ourselves.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Parochial, one could say.
Yeah. Thank you very much to those people that passed on some kind comments. We do like to turn up. We do like to help as much as we can and share as much information as we are able. There are some exciting things ahead. We absolutely wish we could share everything that we know with you, but we have booked in with Andreas for him to come back very, very soon and share some fantastic milestones and changes that are happening to the platform very, very soon. And I guess my parting word before I hand back to Andy to close us out is think very carefully about your position over the next 48 hours, what the impact is of your personal volume, what the impact is of the digital assets you're holding and what you might have been planning to do in the future, maybe the balances that you've got sitting on the platform, and what you do with those. Think about those in relation to your own personal situation. And please join us Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Bring your guests, and we will take them through a lot quicker than this, the presentation to help them understand the great program, the great business that we have here in front of us. And with that, and back to Andy to close us off.
Yeah, I think this has been it's been a lot longer. Thank you, or most of you have stayed on for the entire call, so thank you very much. It's been important just to really have a bit of a sit on the couch and sort of unpack things in a more relaxed, descriptive, elaborate way. What I would suggest, again, using this as a resource, we'll make this link available. We'll post it in the SuperTube. In the I'm mixing my platforms. Obviously it'll go up to the YouTube channel, and we'll post the link in the SuperOne news. I think this is a really good basis right now to make sure that if your entire network, all of your contacts, watch this, because we actually have gone through a fair amount of stuff that milestone, put it into context as to why things are happening. They are happening. All that we can say is what is coming is going to be incredibly supportive and lucrative for the people that either choose to grow a network or maintain their network. That's all we can say. All right, very lucrative. Because it is now time for this business, it is happening, to grow globally and enter new markets, new areas, new groups. It's happening. All right. So share this link and to your network, and this would generate conversation. Conversation is good. It'll generate questions. Questions are good. Engagement. Right, all of those milestones that we went through, the 1 million players on the platform, all the pool tokens sold out. How that happens, it starts with the network, right? It starts with the affiliates. That's why we're here. Okay, we can help that, and every milestone that is achieved gets everyone on this call that has those digital assets, namely the super token, closer to real world market realization of the value of that super token. All right, it's in our hands. So we're incredibly excited. Hopefully you are, Dave. It's always a pleasure been on the couch with you, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for attending. I think this has been one of our best calls ever. And thank you, Mez, for in the background dropping a couple of cheeky little comments. That was really funny. So anyway, until we next meet, stay tuned to the SuperOne Telegram channel, SuperOne News. Sign up, really, really important. Get onto YouTube, SuperOne affiliates. Hit the notifications bell. So all of this stuff's going to come to you. Stay tuned. There are some big announcements happening this week. And with that, enjoy your 37-degree afternoon, David. I will do so myself. And yeah, happy Saturday. Thanks, mate. We'll catch you all soon.